Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. It's good to see that you have nothing better to do than to watch me waste your time. So today we are working on the blue car, but you're probably not going to see a whole bunch of the blue car itself physically because we're actually doing some prep for the blue car. So if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say blue car, I mean the 66 Nova that we did the paint project on. There's obviously a lot more to come on that, but for now, I've actually got to prep the powertrain. I've got to prep the drivetrain for this car so that I can mock a whole bunch of things up. So the car is actually getting a TKX 5-speed, and in order for me to locate the shifter hump and patch up the floor, cut the hole in the floor, and do what I need to do here, I really want to do it where I mount the tranny to the engine, swing it into the car, get it set up where I want, and then that way I know where the shifter will fall in the car. The shifter on the transmission, it just so happens to be they machined the case and put on some special shifter, so it should be close to where the original shifter would be and where the console is on that car. I don't have a console, but I do want to use one. So anyway, because I have some free time and I actually don't have a bell housing to do that job right now, I'm going to do some prep on some other stuff. So this engine is the engine that came out of my other Nova that you probably saw in my cylinder head video. And this engine came out of that car originally. Now this makes, I think we ended up at like 730 or 750 or something like that, with a safe tune in it. Probably could make more, but I think we were stuck there with the turbo at the time, and it was a different turbo. It's actually back behind me on the rack. So anyway, what I've got to do is this engine here needs a head gasket. I don't remember which one it is, so I'm gonna have to do some, looking around and trying to figure out which one it is here. So we got to do a head gasket on this. It has MLS. I have one. I have one to do, and then as you can see, no oil pan. So I have an oil pan that's going to go on this. So I basically want to have this where it's one step away from having a manifold and an intake and all that other stuff, intake manifold, and set it up with a carb. I basically want to have it where the engine itself, the long block, is set to go in the car. That way, if I put it in and I situate it, I don't have to put it back on an engine stand to do the other things that I want to do to it, like fix the head gasket and whatnot. So we're going to do that today, so let's get started. Pippy. Hi, Pip. Everybody, this is my dog, Pip. She's a Beagle Pug Boxer mix rescue. Hey, Pip. She's going to spend the day out with me here. She's kind of confined to the bed. She's paralyzed in one leg in her rear. So we've had kind of a tough way to go with her, but she's such a good dog, so she's going to hang out with us today, and she's going to help us put some of this stuff together. And the good thing is, normally she'd be running all the way down the driveway over there, or running around the back or whatever over there. Today, because of situational stuff, she's not going anywhere. So, Pippy, say hi, Pip. All right, let's get started. When you're building an engine, always use the right tool, which is why I have this saw. This is my engine building saw. So, make sure you get yourself one of these. But seriously, anybody that's wondering why I have a saw to fix an engine, not really a measurer kind of guy, or a brain kind of guy. A couple of things I'm not too good at. But anyway, I got bolts that were a little bit too long, and now I can't turn the freaking engine over because the bolts are sticking right into the flywheel, the flex plate. So I'm going to cut them. That's not working. Plan B, take them out like we should have in the first place. All right, so that's done, and it was a lot of fun. So where we're at now is we're going to actually do a leakage test on each one of the cylinders. We think it's number 3, so we think it's a driver's side. Really nothing visual from looking at it, but just so we can test the whole thing, we're just going to go through the whole engine. So we'll just start right here. First things first, I've got to go to top dead center, and I'm just going to get it close. I actually have the intake manifold off, so I'm just going to watch the push rods. When both of the push rods are down, that means both of the valves are closed. And they are, so we're going to do it, check them now. Here's a leakage tester. This percent of leakage isn't as important as you may think. Really, you just want to load this thing up with air. This is your air pressure inlet to the engine. And you're basically going to put air pressure into the cylinder and see where it leaks out from. You're looking for it to leak out, obviously, into the crankcase, which might be tough to hear without the manifold on. You're going to look to see if you get like an air leaking out of the exhaust. That's a bad exhaust valve. The intake ports, which you can't see here, that'll be an intake, bad intake valve. Piston rings would be, like I said, the crankcase. Am I forgetting something? Oh, and the cylinder head gasket. That would be like you seeing water coming out of the water jackets. We don't have any of that hooked up, but we do have some rags here. I would assume if we get some pressure in the water jacket, it'll push one of these out. But we're going to go by ear here. So that's to simulate basically a bad intake valve. I turned it over so the intake valve is actually open, so I'm creating a leak. But you can, excuse me, the exhaust valve, but you can hear it coming out. Keep turning it over just to basically simulate. I don't know if you can hear it on camera, but. All right, we're gonna do number 4 now. Gotta be honest, number 2 didn't look great. That looked like a decent amount of cylinder leakage. A decent amount of cylinder leakage, and it sounded like it was coming out of the crankcase, so might be looking at rings here. Oh, you know, take it off because I gotta clean it. All right, sort of the same thing. We're gonna just go on and see if maybe if it's just the whole engine. I don't know. Similar on number 6. I don't know if it's time to get nervous yet. I mean, it is on a stand, so doing rings wouldn't be the worst thing, but I'd rather not do them. Okay, well, I had it set wrong. You're supposed to do this with almost 100 psi-ish. Makes the leakage amounts, it's a ratio of what actually escapes. There is a certain amount of leakage that's allowed. I guess with a lower PSI, it's easier to escape because the rings are designed that when a high pressure is inside the engine, it actually makes the ring seat against the wall harder. So with the pressure set where it's supposed to be, it seems that we're okay. Again, don't really go by the green and yellow and red, just kind of more go by like the number. We're at like a 13% leakage, which I can live with. Oh, we've got a little bit more leakage on number 1. I don't know if you can hear that. That's my little boy. Come here. Come over here. Come here. Okay. Say hi. Look. Look over here. Say hi. No? Okay. Love you. Okay, play with mama.
Come here.
We got a whole family affair here today. All right, so we got a little bit more leakage on number 1. I'm thinking maybe there's a potential that the gasket is actually broken in between 1 and 3. So some of what is in 1 will go to 3, and some of what's in 3 to go to 1. So basically, we're gonna prove that by We're gonna prove that by seeing if number 3 also has leakage like this. All right, so the only one that kind of looks messed up is, or higher than the rest, is number 1, which means we're going to be looking at the driver's side cylinder head. So we're going to start by taking that off and see what we got. All right, we're going to start undoing all the locks on the rockers here. Get you guys in here, so I'll show you what we're looking at here. This cylinder looks good. That's 3. That's 1, which also looks good. We don't really see anything that like would indicate any serious issues. The head gasket didn't look bad either, so not exactly sure where we're getting water in the crankcase. Because if I remember correctly, the reason that we even thought to do this was because the oil pan, the last time I did an oil change, or once I got this on a stand and I took the oil pan off to swap it onto another engine, I saw a bunch of water in the oil pan. So I don't know. All right, well, nothing super conclusive. We're gonna throw it back together with the new gasket just because we have it. So let's get started here. Once we have it together, also we'll do a compression test. The bolts going into the block are not blind, which means you can see into the water jacket. So we're going to put some sealer on the side that goes into the block. So we're going to do these in 3 steps. I don't know exactly what the torque spec is right now, but while we're looking it up, we can do, probably end up doing like 30 as the first pass. So let's just go 30. I'm going to assume it's going to be somewhere around 65 or 70 for these, maybe even 80, I don't know. But we're going to do 30 for the first pass. Just a tip when you're doing these, I don't know if you could see in there how it's kind of got like a flat spot versus the back of this, which is just totally round. The trunnion, I mean. This part that spins is called a trunnion. The pin that goes across. Inside here, there's one side of that shaft that's round, obviously because it's a dowel, and one side that was like flat. It's been machined. The flat side goes up. That way the keeper can keep, it has something flat to rest against.
Kathy.
These are hydraulic lifters, so what they're gonna end up doing is we're gonna end up doing 0 lash, and then we'll do a half a turn. So we got a new wine pan, and got to swap out the pickup from the old oil pump and pan setup. These are going to be metric. What is happening?
Really?
Probably. Yeah. So we got to swap out the pickup, and then drop the new pickup on, and then new gasket, new pan, and then this thing's pretty much ready to go.
There was a socket missing on that rack. And I was
No.
very surprised that wasn't the 10.
Oh yeah, that was a SAE, that's why.
Oh.
Yep.
You have a balancer for this motor, or you need to get one?
I gotta get one. Actually, I think I have one, but
Only had a vacuum.
at least the metal's not sharp. Cutting my hand right open. That's good.
It's in the bone.
It's deep. It's a deep burn. Yeah, I think that's a different distance. Different height.
Yeah.
All right, so these have to be pressed into this hole. There's a very special tool to do that.
I have it right here in my pocket.
And I'm gonna show you. And there it is, a 5/8 wrench. See how it works? Got this hammer. And there she goes. Now I just got to put these bolts in. Of course, I'm not going to be able to get to this bolt with the socket anymore because the pickup is on top of it, which is fantastic.
It's going to be box switch.
Yeah, what was it, a 10, right? Boy, am I glad they folded this in the box.
How did you guys know that I never wanted to actually use this?
Yeah, that's great. Just going to check the height just to make sure that it's not something funny with this oil pump itself. I love how these are super sharp. Can kill you. Enjoy the metal. Going the wrong direction. Okay. Lock it. I think 8.5. A little over 8.5. And we've got our pan down here. I don't know if you can see it in the shot, but you're going to compare the height to the height on the pan. So we got about a 1/16 of an inch, maybe a little bit over. When you factor in the height of the gasket, we'll have roughly 3/8 of an inch or so, which is perfect. We're good to throw this on now. You got that old?
Yeah, those are both tight.
The good thing about this kit is it came with all new bolts, and the washers are not on them, so that's pretty cool. And that one's on. The two front ones are big. The two front and the two back ones are bigger than the rest. I'm a small block Chevy. That was the safest place I could think to put those. For everyone that's wondering, Pip, she's fine, she's here. I know that was the most important thing in this video that everybody wanted to know. But she's here, she's hanging out. All right, well, kind of a weird video, only because we took a head off, maybe for no reason. Ryan, who you saw helping me out, you've also seen him in other videos. He made a good observation, which was this manifold, intake manifold, and as anybody knows that runs small block Chevys, they run cooling through these intake manifolds. He made an observation that when we did take this out of the car, I took the manifold off to put it in that Nova, the one that you've seen in my other videos. So it's entirely possible that just some water that may have come out of those passages when I took the manifold off, got into the pan. Maybe that's where the water in the pan came from. I don't know, but it does have a new head gasket on it now. So the next video that we do in regards to like the drivetrain for this car, I don't know if the next video itself about this car will have to do with the drivetrain yet. We're still kind of in the process of, you know, wet sanding and buffing and stuff. But the next video in regards to the drivetrain on this car is going to be, once I get a bell housing, is mount that tranny up to this engine, run it into the, you know, drop it in the car, and then what's the matter with you? Going to drop the engine and tranny in the car, locate the where the shifter is going to come out of the floor. That way I could weld on the shifter hump, and then kit that I bought for the TKX has like a little block off plate, so you got to cut some stuff and weld the panel in. So keep an eye out for that video and others. Thanks again for watching.